Welcome back, Boss Agents. This is the Boss Agent Podcast with your hosts, Matt
Hey, everyone.
and Rich. Last week, we did a video on how to become a real estate agent. And naturally, a lot of people have been asking us, what are the actual startup costs for starting as a real estate agent?
Right. And there's really two sets of startup costs for becoming a real estate agent that we want to talk about. And the first one is going to be obviously just getting your license, but then also the actual cost of you starting your business as a real estate agent.
Because that's what you're doing. When you become an agent, you really are starting a business.
Right.
So the first category, the costs of getting licensed, are pretty straightforward. You're going to have to pay for a pre-licensing course from your state, or that works in your state. You're going to have to do the exam, which is going to have another little fee.
Right.
You're going to have to pay for the license itself. And then if you're a part of the real estate association, some states require you to be, some MLSs also, you're going to have to pay those association dues. In total, that should cost less than $2,000.
That's pretty much it for starting up. Now the more important side of this is, and the things you might not think about initially, are these costs of actually starting up the business. And the first thing we want to talk about, because it's probably the most important, is have 6 to 12 months at least of your living expenses saved up when you're first starting out. Because if you're coming from a different career, how much income are you trying to replace?
Yeah. What is your current income? What is your current budget for your bills? Have 6 to 12 months of that set aside.
Right.
And so obviously we can't give you a dollar amount because we don't know your budget and your bills. This is super critical if you want to stay in the business and be successful.
Right. Also, another thing that we got to talk about, the marketing budget. You got to market yourself. You're starting a new business. You're new to this. Also, to consider things like possibly paying for leads, especially when you're starting out. That's another cost that I think we wanted to bring up right away because you might not have thought of it initially.
Absolutely. And these tie into each other. So many agents get 1 or 2 commission checks and then quit because they didn't have the monthly living expenses set aside. So their first commission checks, they're paying credit cards off, they're paying their rent, and then they don't set those first commission checks that come in aside from marketing. When you get those first checks, reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your business, market yourself so that you can continue that momentum and move on to get more transactions.
Right. Another thing we touched on in our last video, you're not just commuting to the office and back. You're going to be out showing properties and meeting clients. Transportation, going to be huge. You're going to be driving more. You're going to be using more gas. You're going to be putting more wear on your car, etc. So that's another big cost we wanted to bring up right away because you might not have thought of it.
The NAR member profile they just released said the transportation on average is the biggest expenditure for real estate agents.
Right.
I think the national average was like $1,400 a year, which is excessive for driving from point A to point B.
Right. Another thing, kind of simple, but you're going to have professional clothes / dress clothes and shoes. You're going to have to be professional. Obviously, if you don't already have those items, that's another cost.
Yep. If you're coming from an industry where you could be casual, or if you're just coming out of high school, for instance, and you don't have dress clothes,
right,
that's going to be a cost. And you can get those secondhand or in outlet centers. We're not saying you have to go and spend thousands of dollars on a wardrobe, but you're going to need a couple really nice outfits, especially if you want to sell to clients who expect their agent to look professional,
right,
which I highly recommend you sell those kinds of clients.
Absolutely.
Then we got broker fees or desk fees. When you start with a brokerage, they might give you, most of them are going to give you like a few months break where they don't charge you those fees. But after those couple months are over, you're going to be charged anywhere from $100 to $500, maybe even more, depending on your area and how those brokers operate, just to dock your license with this broker. And then also, when you get paid a commission, they're going to take a percentage. And that's also going to differ brokerage to brokerage. Don't just go for the cheapest brokerage, by the way. Definitely want to interview brokers and see what they give you for that.
Right, exactly.
So, and then something that not a lot of people think about is you're going to need a laptop. And we specifically are saying a laptop because you're going to need to be mobile. You're going to need to be portable so that you can write contracts on kitchen tables, so that you can meet at the coffee shop to draft an offer for a client.
Exactly.
That is very important. You might be able to get away with an iPad or something like that, but in reality, it's not going to look good in comparison to typing a contract on a laptop. It's very important. So if you don't have a laptop, you're looking at least $300 to $500
minimum.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of other incidental stuff, which the next couple of things you can actually find. We're going to recommend the stuff we use ourselves. So if you go to boss-agent.com/gear, GEAR, that's where you can find the links to the stuff we personally use. But you're going to need a briefcase or a laptop bag for the laptop you just bought.
Right.
And not a messenger bag, right?
No, we want something that, obviously looks professional, looks nice. If it's like a canvas or material bag with like a design, we need something that looks professional.
Yep.
Which we have an example of. Also, going off that, a Padfolio, and that's essentially a legal pad on one side and a business card storage and pen storage and anything else on the other side. And you're going to be out showing property. You're going to need to take notes. You're going to need to take notes even when you're at your desk, and it's going to be all in one place. So we have a Padfolio up there that we recommend as well.
Yeah, for sure. Leather is kind of the rule. Now, if you don't believe in that, you can also get vegan leather, but you're going to want to go for that look because it looks professional, looks sharp, it looks clean, versus like Matt had said, something that's canvas or has a design on it. That's just not going to match the professionalism you're trying to be at.
Right.
And then a little tiny, this is just going to make your life way easier and make you look good to your clients. A little tool we use is a laser measurer, and not just for listings, although it makes listing process way easier. You don't got to use a tape to measure all the rooms. But even for on showings with buyers, a lot of times they'll ask, hey, will my 9-foot couch fit here? If I put both leaves in my dining room table,
in the dining room or something, you can measure that room quick. And if you have it on you, that, you're set. They can answer that question immediately.
It makes you look really good.
It does.
So especially if these are cold buyers, you stand out.
Right.
So, that's really the categories, where we went through just starting your business. If you're looking for a number, I kind of mentioned this earlier, we really can't give you a solid number, unfortunately.
Right. It kind of depends on your area and what you're trying to accomplish too as a real estate agent. But we just want to bring up the categories and the things that you should be thinking about when you're starting this journey.
Yeah. And that is, we just want you to be successful. I think that really Matt and I are here. We started this podcast. We started this channel because we wanted you to be successful real estate agents. And real estate has such a high failure rate. And I think a lot of that comes from the low barrier to entry. Anybody can get into it, really. And then also the lack of preparation and the lack of information about what it actually takes to be successful.
Right.
So that's where we're at, guys. I don't have anything else to say about it. But if you need help or if you have questions or you want to ask us anything, please feel free to email us. Our email is bossagentpodcast@gmail.com. We check that. It goes to our phones just like your email should. It goes, we got it on our computers, obviously. We check it daily. So feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you.
Right. And if you found this video helpful, or someone who might find it helpful, feel free to share it with them. Also give us a like. That's also super helpful on YouTube. And then we also do post content every week. So if you could subscribe, that'd be great.
Yeah. Hit the bell. And then if you're on the podcast, like Stitcher or something, please do give us a 5-star rating. It helps a lot. We're just trying to help everybody and that helps us in return. So,
all right. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.